All right, welcome to the Dales Report. Happy to be joined today with the CEO of Gaia Growth Corp, Frederick Pels. Back to the show. Frederick, how are things?
They're great, Chad. Thanks.
Yeah, it's summer's going by fast. What's the feedback been? How's business going, and the overall awareness of like your model? Because I know last time we had spoke, appears to be an industry leader when it comes to extraction. This is an industry that badly needs it in the cannabis landscape, but just want to obviously catch your touch base with you today and get a quick update.
Sure. Well, I mean, we've begun our plans for expansion. Equipment has been ordered. We're waiting for it to arrive. So hopefully it arrives here as fast as possible. We managed to find what was needed within the country. So hopefully it's not too long of a delivery time, and then set up and off to the races on the CSS side of things.
Yeah.
And that's really the secret sauce to our standout move. So once that equipment is in place, we're going to be firing on all cylinders and looking to build out the rest of the expanded space that we got.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we talked about in our inaugural interview, and for those that knew or watching this, we talked about how your company, Gaia Grow Corp, was advancing its cost-dominant extraction process towards commercialization. Once you prove that process of scale, you'll be able to produce extracts of 20 to 30% compared to your competitors, which is eye-opening. So, of course, this will lead to much lower retail prices for consumers. So as we said before, this is eye-opening opportunity for the industry that badly needs it. So saying that, you just outlined a little bit of timeline-wise. When do you think that you'll be fully up and running, like at some point later this calendar year?
Well, hopefully that's the case. I mean, we want to be in full production before the holidays.
Okay.
So that is our plan to move forward here. At least on the CSS side, the expansion into the additional 16,000 square feet will be Health Canada dependent.
Yeah.
It is an amendment. So you're looking at about 6 months before we receive the proper go ahead from Health Canada to start putting equipment in there and producing on that side of the building.
Facility is in Calgary, correct? And if so, why did this facility make sense for you and the company? Maybe walk us through what you saw so people can visualize it.
So if you look at the CapEx that some of our peers in the industry have spent on their facilities, you'll see the disadvantage that they have at the start, like millions of dollars coming up front to outfit and at times purchase the property. This was a repurposed Schlumberger oil lab. As Andre likes to say, it went from black oil to green oil. And so a lot of the laboratory requirements were already in place. There was millions of dollars in capital deployed in upgrading this facility by the previous tenants. So we were able to take advantage of that, repurpose a few things, or should I say True Extracts was able to take advantage of that, repurpose a few things, and really build an outstanding facility for very little CapEx. And that goes for our expansion side as well. So because the bones are already there for a laboratory, the cost to expand and build out for our use are very minimal.
Wow.
So that's where this facility excels. And again, it's not the biggest facility out there, but we're trying to make the most efficient. And that's the goal.
Did you find, like, as far as when you purchased the facility itself and COVID going on, a lot of brick and mortar, as we obviously know, it's common sense that, a lot of people are changing their overall business model, but was there a big opportunity as far as price wise? Like, I guess, quote unquote, was it a great deal for you to obviously move forward with this?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes.
So with regards to retail, with you getting into retail adult use operations, are you looking to expand your retail footprint at all? Is that a direction your company could explore going forward, or do you remain fully committed to the commercialization of extraction?
Yeah, I mean, the retail side is where I've really got my start in the cannabis industry. I think when it's run properly, can be very profitable, and it has been for a few companies out there. In this time, we really want to see how the retail side of things shake out. With the stores that we have in BC, We know we're capable of operating those and bringing them to profitability in a very reasonable amount of time. The available stores currently on the marketplace right now haven't piqued my interest to expand any further. But with BC introducing delivery, it's going to be really interesting. It's a whole new market, and it's a big one. In today's climate, delivery is everything. So with us now being able to deliver in BC, we can model and see, logistically what locations could work better with a properly run delivery model, and base it off that.
So let's learn a little bit about BC. Through recent regulatory changes announced by regulators in British Columbia, you're set to operate, as I said, 2 dispensaries in the province through your subsidiary Green Room. This includes delivery services for each location and linked to the company's e-commerce platform. So can you talk a little more as to what this opportunity does present for you?
Well, it allows us reach to locations that wouldn't organically come to our brick and mortar stores just because of logistics. I mean, it's cannabis has become accessible in Canada. The products are very similar price point wise, inventory wise, from store to store. The best thing you can do to set yourself apart is create a fast experience. So come in, get your product, leave quickly, efficiently at a good value, or provide a delivery service that is better than your competitors in the industry. And that's what we're setting out to do. If we, look at, I don't want to say the name, but you look at some of the, pizza delivery franchises that are out there, they target their locations based on the ability to deliver to customers.
Right.
It's going to be very similar to cannabis. When we looked at these locations years ago, I mean, we've been around since 2016 with the Green Room. They were all intended to be at the residential center, not so much the commercial center. And that gives us direct access to the organic population of the municipalities that we operate in. And for delivery, it doesn't get much better than that. You want repeat local clientele, and that's what we're going to target.
So how do you like this? Let's face it, people that are getting involved, they look at this Canadian landscape right now, cannabis landscape. There's a surplus of product that's currently available across the country right now, challenging, very, very competitive. When I look at your model, again, it goes back to 20 to 30% less than competitors when it comes to extraction. That is obviously the main goal. What kind of conversations are you having right now? Are there people within the space that are taking notice? And how do you compete, and how do you, I guess, fix this problem, so to speak, that's going on with the amount of surplus that's currently going on in the Canadian cannabis landscape?
Well, on the CBD side, believe it or not, Chad, the price of distillate has actually increased. We were looking at the market numbers, just trying to figure out our entry point. And for the time being, there seems to be demand is outpacing supply on that front. With the product side of things, I think you're looking at a saturation in dried flower, certain edibles, certain products that were the lowest hanging fruit are definitely, saturated. The inputs to make those products, however, are still in demand. And that is where True Extracts has the ability to shine. So providing the bulk pricing of the inputs continues to increase, we have to pick a strategy to ensure that we're taking the largest share of that production and sales.
Right. Last thing I wanted to ask, financials, as you said before, you recently closed your first round of your private placement that will provide gross proceeds of $836,000 to the company. Some of those proceeds, as you said before, are going to be for equipment and expand the facility, which, you, as mentioned, that you're now in a position. So saying all this, does this now position you to buy what you have and what you need enough, and as well give you cash to prove out the model at scale for the proceeds of this financing?
Yes. Yeah. The sole purpose of that financing was based on getting that equipment and, looking forward to the expansion of True. The reason why we need to expand is, True is effectively at capacity right now in the 12,000 or so square feet that we operate in. By design, we can have a lot more of an efficient facility, knowing what we know now in the second side. So we're set up to do that, and you know, it wasn't an arbitrary number. We budgeted and prepared ourselves for any potential hangups we might have.
Right.
The biggest expense, which as you alluded to earlier, what created the economic sense for us to do the expansion now was the offer from our landlord, and that, you know, would have been the biggest carrying cost, is waiting the 6 months or so for Health Canada to approve that side of the facility. We've managed to avoid a serious expense there, so it made a lot of sense to do the expansion now.
That's big. I've talked to a lot of people at Health Canada. They move at a certain pace, but if that's something that you guys have got approval, and obviously that's, I don't think people can underestimate that accomplishment. When I look at this space right now, help me envision what we're going to see. You know, you just mentioned you're cashed up, hoping to be at full scale before the holiday season. US could be expanding and building more of their infrastructure. And we are in a very competitive Canadian market. So beginning of 2022, as more and more of these companies are just being, like, you know, viewed at from a microscope perspective about the overall overhead costs and execution wise, what is the goal of growth and scale for you going into 2022? And what does this look like, this company, the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, the effectiveness of our efficiency is what we are hoping pushes us ahead of the competition. So we can create and win a race to the bottom if we needed to. The competitors in the space right now, I don't think, are prepared to compete at this level. As we continue to commercialize our technology and our methods,
Right.
The competition won't really have much choice moving forward.
All right. Well, listen, I appreciate your time. Excited to see how this is obviously going to expand and move forward. But anytime you throw me 20 to 30% less than your competition when it comes to extraction, this is an industry that badly needs it. So we're following closely. Congrats on being cashed up and getting everything that you need and expanding facility. And let's keep in touch.
Thanks, Chad.
All right. Thanks, Frederick.